And in this video, we're going to take a look at how to create this interesting animation. It's a combination of real footage with a digital illustration. So it's the workflow is slightly complicated, and we will be going through a couple of different tools, but this is actually pretty easy to understand. Let's start generating an illustration. So I'm not good at making it myself. I'm just going to go to an Gen AI platform. So I'm using Luma Labs Dream Machine right now. I'm inside Dream Labs. I'm going to create an image. So what I'm going to do is I can use a reference image, and I can tell them that I need an illustration in this particular style, and I can mention the action for that. So to do this, I'm just going to go first to Pinterest and look for the kind of illustration style that I require. All right, so I think this style is pretty interesting. I'm just going to take that and save it into my system. Let's go to Luma Labs, and you can add an image right here. So I'm just going to add this, and I will just write illustration of a woman sitting and reading a book. Isolated background, no other objects other than the book. So we need to make sure that we are actually, the image that we are uploading is for reference. We can use it to modify this and all that stuff, but make sure that it's at reference. We can, sort of set our aspect ratio. 1:1 works right now, and I'm just going to click. We have a couple of images. I think this is decent enough. That shows a little more of the body, which is it's fine for us right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here and download this. So the image is downloaded. We have the image right here. So let's go and check our image. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So what we're going to do right now is that we're going to open this image in Photoshop. We need a little bit of cleanup done for this. So let's go here. We have this. So first thing that we will try and do is we can actually use Photoshop's Gen AI and see if Photoshop can actually create the whole body of this object. So I'm going to select the crop tool. Just right, legs. Okay, so we got a result. We'll see, we will definitely get 3 results. So we can switch back and forth and we can see some results. That is the back. We don't need the background, right? So I think this is the perfect option where there is nothing else in the background. So we're going to just confirm that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to merge these 2 layers. I just want it to be one layer like this. And I want the background to be removed. I don't want any background here. So I'm going to click on it, and it cleaned the background for me. It's again good. So now let's rasterize that, and what we'll do is we're going to just separate this into little pieces. So we will be animating this later. So what I'm going to do is I just want the head to be a separate piece. So I'm going to go in. I'm just going to just make some crops in here. So I'm just going to crop this part of the head. I mean, I can be very rough in this. I'm not being very precise in this area. It's gonna just roughly make a cut. So my head right now is a separate layer here. I'm just gonna call it head, and see that head is actually separate. This particular part of the body, maybe the hands and things like that, I can actually make that also into a separate part, right? So let's just cut this area. Again, I'm being very, very rough with the whole thing, right? So just go like this. That's the hook. So we have 2 parts separated, which is sort of fine for this. So we'll just make sure that there is a body layer as well. We have 3 layers separated right now. I'm going to just go and save it. So let's go to File, Save As, and we want this to be saved as PSD. I'm just going to put character, the title, and PSD is saved. We are done with this. Let's close Photoshop. Now what we need is, our plan was to actually superimpose this particular character that we have on a video, on a moving video, right? So it's a real video clip, and we want this character to be sitting in that video clip. So let's go hunt for a video clip. So I'm going to use Pexels to do that. So let's go to the browser. Let's click on pexels.com. It's a royalty-free video and photo repository. We'll go to videos and we'll search for cityscape. We'll be able to see a couple of videos. We'll look at what actually matches us, our requirements. So there is a slight bit of zooming which is happening here. That's a pretty decent footage. We can shortlist that, so just download that. Comes to our system. Okay, it's a video where the camera is sort of like zooming out. We have a couple of other videos as well. Let's just randomly go through that and see if there is anything better. Okay, this is another video. It seems a much simpler video to solve, so we can just keep that also handy if required. Otherwise we'll use the other video. Okay, so we have these two video clips. Let's get started with the compositing of the whole thing. So what we're going to use here is Adobe After Effects. Let's go to After Effects. Okay, we are inside Adobe After Effects. Let's bring in the videos that we downloaded. So let's go to downloads. Let's take the video clips, drag and drop it right here. So we have these two video clips right here. We'll also add our characters. So just open the character that we have saved. Make sure that we are importing this as a composition, and we're going to click O. Okay, so that character is also there. We have these two video clips. Let's try working with the first clip. So I'm going to just drag it down into the composition, and it creates a composition. And we can see that it actually runs for 14 seconds, and we don't need 14 seconds for this. I'll just sort of like say that, okay, we need 6 seconds. So I'm just going to trim this composition to 6 seconds. And we have 6 seconds of this working. Let's see. Okay, it goes like that. The quality is set to quarter right now. We can actually make it to half. And we can see this particular footage. Okay. The other video, we will also try that for a second. So I'm just going to take that video clip, drag it to another composition. So another composition is generated here. And you can see this actually runs for 12 seconds. Again, we don't need it. We will actually cut it at 6 seconds. Trim this. And we have this. So this is a much better scene if you look at these two comparisons. This could be an easier thing to solve, but this is slightly difficult. Could be, I'm just saying. But it seems a little interesting, right? The whole movement and the spaces and the buildings and things like that. So let's work with this, right? So the first thing that we have to do here is that I'm just going to bring the character one. So let's bring our character right here to our composition, and we can see the character right here. So let it be there. I'm just going to turn it off right now. What we are trying to do is we are going to 3D track the camera motion, because when the camera is moving, the character should feel like it's actually in the scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this footage. We're going to click track camera. We're going to cancel this first. So I'm just going to cancel the analyzing. There is something that we need to change. The shot type is not the fixed angle of view. It actually is a variable zoom. So I'm just going to change it to variable zoom and click on analyze then. Right, so we are done with the tracking, and if you just scrub through, you can see the 3D track points which are generated right now. So what we need to do is we need to actually set up a plane here, right? So something which actually aligns with the axis, so we can choose it. So I think the angle that we want our character to be sitting, I think this would be a right area. So I'm just going to click on that and then create a camera based on that. So it created a 3D tracker camera, which is right there. And if you see that, it's actually there. So now the thing that we need to keep sure is that our character is actually a 3D layer, because otherwise the 3D tracker camera will not actually apply to that layer. So currently we have a decent track. And we have created the character. We have put the character there. The 3D camera tracker is actually following the character directly there. Now, since we have this setup, what we need to do is we need to animate the character a little bit, and not too complex stuff, but we can actually go inside the character right now and we can do some animations here. So I'm just going to go inside here and let's do some basic stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I will just go down to the layer panel. We can see that there are three layers here. There is the book, and we will sort of trim it down to 6 seconds, somewhere like, yeah, maybe we just need only 6 seconds of this. So we have this right now. So I need the head to be moving a little bit. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to change the anchor point to where we basically need to change this a little bit. So I'm just going to use my Y, move the anchor point to this area, and let's click R. Then it's changed. So it is going to move a little bit like this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a keyframe here and then slowly just move it. Maybe like a noding, just just select everything and press F9 on my keyboard. So that it's all ease in and ease out. Okay, so that actually goes in like that. We can maybe take the book and then animate that also a little bit. So I'm just going to move again the axis point here, and let's say take the rotation of the book and create something like, again, same thing, F9 to ease in the animation. So you can see that there is some sort of like a movement happening in this character. Let's go to our basic composite, and we can now see that animation is there in this character as well. Now that we have that figured out, a major part of the job is done. I think pretty much everything is done. We can just go ahead and export this file. So let's go to composition, add to render queue, and render this to our desktop.